Hey, thanks for stopping in. I thought I'd tell you about some of the guitars that I've been using to make music with. This is the Goya G120 Classical Guitar. It's the guitar that I've been playing the longest. My parents got this for me for Christmas when I was maybe 13 or 14 years old. I remember Grandpa Martin coming over later in the day to teach me some chords and some of the old cowboy songs like My Darling Clementine or Red River Valley. From this valley, they say, you are leaving. We shall miss your bright eyes and sweet smile. I tell you, sitting down and learning those songs with Grandpa, it really changed my relationship to the guitar. It went from being something that I just wanted to hold to something that I wanted to make music with. It made a big difference. Now, Goya guitars were manufactured by the Levin Company in Sweden through most of the 20th century. By the time this guitar was built in the early 80s, Martin had purchased Levin and moved all the production to Korea, and Goya guitars were turned into a budget brand. This is not a real high-quality instrument. The rosette around the sound hole is a decal. This binding is not binding, it's painted on. From the chips, it looks maybe a little bit like tortoiseshell, but believe me, it's just paint that's been chipped. Nonetheless, it's always been very playable for me. I've always gotten some sweet tones, and I've been able to make some pretty good music with it. Now, for a long time, I only had two guitars, this one and the Harmony Electric that we'll talk about in another post. I took this guitar with me to a lot of places. I took it to Boy Scout camp when I was younger. Later brought it with me to college, where I did some of my early writing with it. And I was still actively using it when I got married to Kristen in 1991 and chose it to play a song during our wedding reception. I don't use it much anymore. It's kind of hard to get into tune. It probably needs a good going over by somebody who knows something about classical guitars. But I did use it a lot on the first three albums and have used it intermittently since then. It was used for the arpeggio at the beginning of Christina. It was also used for the acoustic guitar parts in Understand a few years later. Anyway, you can also hear it used for the solo in Letters in the Basement later on in that album. It even provides some interesting moments in one of my recent songs, In Your Obedient Servant, throughout the song, but especially at the end, where you hear this guitar reprising the opening lines of Understand through to the end. Now, classical guitars weren't meant to be played with a pick. I used a pick on this a lot, and it shows on the finish. But I've since learned to do fingerstyle a lot more, and I actually like doing that. I just wish I were better about keeping my fingers out of my mouth and chewing my nails, because I really only use the fingertips to play. Should use the fingernails. But anyway, this guitar has served me really well over the years. I think it's highly unlikely that I'll ever get rid of it. The Goya G120 classical guitar from the early 80s. Thank you.